Hi guys, today I'm going to talk about guide dog equipment I use on a daily basis with my dog. So to jump right in, the first thing that we use, and I think almost every dog owner uses on a daily basis, is their leash. I got this leash during training from the Guide Dog Foundation. On the end, you may be able to tell that I have a sort of yellow fabric thing. This is called a gentle leader, and it just helps me have more control over her, and it also lets me know if she's sniffing or looking around, whereas if I just use the leash on her collar, I really can't tell any of those things. The next thing I want to show is the harness. So many guide dog schools have their own harnesses. Every harness is a little bit different, but the one I got from the Guide Dog Foundation is like this. It's kind of brown and made out of leather. Now here's a video of me putting on the gentle leader and her harness. There are three main parts to the harness. There is the handle, there is a strap that goes around my dog's back, and there's a strap that goes around her chest. So I'll do my best to explain this. The chest part just wraps right around her chest, underneath her neck, and above her front legs. This is the piece that she walks into, and by walking into it, she creates the pull that I then feel when I hold onto the handle, because when we walk, there is always that pressure so that I can tell where we're supposed to go. Next, there is the back piece, and so this just goes right over her belly area. It's behind her neck, and compared to her front legs, it's a little bit behind her front legs, and it just goes around her back, perpendicular to the floor. There is a strap that goes around her belly, and basically it's like a continuation of the back piece. And I just hook it to the other side of the back piece. When everything is hooked up, if you look at it as though you're looking straight at the dog, the back piece and the belly piece form like an oval. So that's how it fits onto her. And the handle, it is actually removable off of this particular harness. And the way it's shaped is that it comes straight up and off of the body of the harness. And then both of the rods of the handle have a probably 120-degree turn to the right, and then after probably a few inches, 5 or so inches, they turn back straight and they're somewhat parallel. And then there's at the top, connecting the two poles of the handle, is the part that I actually hold on to. And the handle is leather, and there are some reflective tape pieces both on the handle and on the chest piece. And in case you're wondering, the reason why the harness bends like this is because the dog walks on my left, so that way I can hold the handle pretty close to my body without pulling my dog over into me. So everything was fitted to me and my dog, so the body of the harness is fitted to her size, and the handle is fitted for my height compared to her height, and the shape of the handle is also for my comfort. Because some people, it works better if they have just a normal, kind of more parallel structured handle, things like that. Okay, so to put the harness on my dog, I simply take the belly strap and I hold it against the back strap. This is just so that the hook does not come around and swing and hit her in the face. And then I just have her head in, put her head between the chest strap and the back strap. And then I take the belly strap, bring it around, and hook it to the other side. And I can actually do this pretty easily with just one hand after just a bit of practice. Now the belly strap is pretty loose around her. It's snug to her body. It is fitted for her size in particular, but it's not squeezing her to any extent. It's just really to keep the harness strongly in place. Next, I want to show the leash. The leash that I got from the Guide Dog Foundation, it's leather, and it's got a couple of metal hooks on it. And so the main two ways I use it is either as long, I'd say this is probably 3, maybe 4 feet long, or I can clip it to a hook near one of the ends, and it almost makes the leash half as long. But the way I mainly use it is I use a gentle leader with my dog, just so that I can better feel what she's doing with her head. The way I put this on is I bring the loop out from the center of the gentle leader. I put the loop around her nose, and then I take the two other straps and clip them behind her ears, making sure that the straps go under her ears, not pinning them down. And so same thing with the gentle leader, it's adjusted for her size and for her comfort. And then I have one end of the leash clipped to, there's a small hook that comes down from the gentle leader, and so it's probably relative to her, it's kind of right under her eye level. It's a couple inches below her chin. And that is where I have hooked one end of the leash. And I hooked the other end of the leash to her collar. And then when we walk together, I hold both her harness and her leash in one hand, in my left hand, and I hold them together on the harness. That way I can easily transfer from using the leash to using the harness, no matter how I want to do. Now, an interesting thing with guide dog foundation dogs is that they can leash guide, meaning she can guide using just the leash. So it's also a reason if maybe there's like a particular crowd or something and I want her slightly in front of me but still guiding, sometimes I'll use just the leash to leash guide that way, and we're a little bit slimmer when we do that. So that is how I put on my dog's daily equipment. Next, I'm going to talk about some boots that I use for her. So dog boots, you can get them for any kind of situation. My dog is sniffing them now. There are some for just if you have a very active hiking dog and you don't want them to maybe get their paws scratched on gravel or something. But the ones I have here are specifically for hot weather. And basically, the rule goes that if you put the back of your hand on the pavement where you're going to be walking and it burns you, then it's going to burn your dog and you should protect their paws. So these are cool boots. I got them for about $35. I'll put the link down below. They're blue, they're really cute, and they're pretty simple. So they just have a padded bottom, and on top they're like a sort of mesh webbing, and there are two Velcro straps. And basically when you put them on, you just slide them on your dog's foot, and then you tighten it as much as possible. Again, these ones are specifically for hot weather, so they also have some reflective parts. Remember that your dog sweats through their paws, so it's important that you don't leave the boots on too long if you don't need to, and let their paws breathe when they're safe to take the boots off. There's also boots for cold weather. If where you live they put salt on the streets when it's cold, it's really a good idea to have boots on your dog then, because the salt can get in their paws and irritate them. Now, another thing I want to talk about is my treat pouch. So I'm going to take it off. I got this as well during training. It's basically just like a fanny pack. It's pretty solidly built. On it, it says Karen Pryor clicker training. So that's cool. And so it has the band that goes around my waist. It has a little clip on the back of it as well, which I suppose you could clip to your waistband if you didn't want to use the entire strap. And it has a spring opening mechanism, and so inside are where I put my treats. When I have it closed, I've never had any kibbles leak out or anything, so it works pretty well. There is also a smaller Velcro pouch on the front of it, and in there I keep some waist bags and my whistle and a guide dog ID, just in case. The last thing I want to talk about is what I carry on in my backpack on a daily basis. So I'm a college student, so I always have my bag with me. First, I have her dog bowl, and she's really excited about this. It's foldable and it's square, and so if I pull it out, it's a pretty sizable bowl, and I can fit just about anything I need to in there. And she's looking for food now. And basically, I have this if I ever am out for several hours and I need to give her some water, or if I'm out during her dinner time so that I can feed her without being too late. And this also means that I can stay out longer. So it's great for both of us. Now, if I ever put water or anything in here and I need to put it back in my bag, I always have extra Ziploc bags with me, and it fits perfectly in there. And that way my bag doesn't get wet. Next, I always carry around a bag of her dinner with me. So this is a bag of her dinner, and I always have this with me for the exact same reason as her bowl. If I'm out during her dinner time, which is around 5:30, I don't have to run back. I always have it with me. I usually feed her, if I do feed her like this, somewhere outside if I'm in a public place, just so that I'm respectful of the people around me and the indoors. I also like to take off her harness when she's eating dinner, just so that she has that separation of working time and feeding time. Going off of that, I also carry around a collapsible water bottle. So I usually have a water bottle with me all the time for myself, and I give some to her if we need to. But on the occasion that I don't have any water left or I forgot a water bottle, I make sure to always have this with me. And basically, it's so that if I'm at a store or something and I realize I need to give her some water, I can fill this up really quickly and put it in her bowl outside. Because what I figured out is having the bowl and a drinking fountain is not enough, because I can't carry the bowl like with two hands full of water outside. So this is really light, really compact. It's not a problem at all to carry it around with me. Next, I always have an extra supply of paper towels with me. This is for really anything, say if she has an accident, say if she licks something or anything like that. I think it's just really helpful to have some extra paper towels with me everywhere I go. Next, I have a pack of grooming wipes with me. Now, you can use grooming wipes or even baby wipes work pretty well. So this is just a small 50 pack. I also have a 100 pack. But I just always have these in case if we're walking in the rain and we get inside and I realize she smells really strongly like wet dog, I can just quickly wipe her down and take care of that. It's also, say, if I'm getting back to my dorm room late and I wanted to maybe clean her that day, I can clean her outside with these before going inside, and I don't have to make 2 trips. So it's also just a convenience thing for me. Next, I have a blue rubber brush, and it's kind of like a Zoom Groom, but it's not actually a Zoom Groom. It has pokey rubber bristles that are kind of thick, and it's very bendy and flexible. So why I have this is so that I could have a brush with me all the time, but one that I didn't have to worry about crushing in my backpack, because again, I'm a student, I'm always putting things in and out, and I just didn't want to worry about that. I have another brush with regular bristles that I use if I'm already in my dorm and I go outside to brush her. But by having this with me all the time, when I want to brush her and I'm going into my dorm, I can just brush her and then go inside and stay there. I don't have to do 2 trips, especially if it's late at night and there's no other reason for me to go inside and back outside. So it's just another convenience thing, but also having this motivates me to brush her every day, which is really good for her hygiene. The last item in my backpack is some hydrogen peroxide. So I put it in this little bottle of mouthwash, but I promise it's actually hydrogen peroxide. And basically this is if I ever need to induce vomiting because my dog eats something poisonous or something like that, I have some wherever I go, because I figure if she's going to eat something bad for her, it's not going to be when I'm in my room and I have all my equipment. So I make sure to always have this with me. And I have about 25 milliliters in here, which is the recommended amount for her size. If you want to do something similar, make sure that you're aware of your dog's size and how much you should give them in this situation. And if your dog ever does eat something that you think may be poisonous, you should of course call your vet before doing anything, because there are some products that it's safer for them to keep down than to throw up. And last but not least is what my dog wears every day is her collar. It's just a metal chain link training collar. Some dogs use a martingale, which is mostly cloth with a small chain portion. There's a loop that comes out here, and that's where I attach her leash. We also have a couple tags, a guide dog tag and a rabies tag. Whenever she walks, it makes this noise. So one thing you can do is use rubber bands around the tags just to keep them together so they don't clink. Personally, I like the clinking because that way I always know where she is. And it doesn't bother me too much, but never fear, if it does bother you, there are solutions to it. This has been my everyday guide dog equipment video. As you can see, we have a good number of stuff, but I think that everything has a purpose. I also have a blog, EasierVision.wordpress.com. You can email me with questions at EasierVision@gmail.com or follow me on Instagram at EasierVision. I hope this video has been helpful and gives you some great ideas and tips for what you can do with your guide dog, and I hope to see you next time.